All right, so welcome back. Welcome back to the third part three of, not the third part three, but part three of our study of the parable of the talents from, from the New Testament, Matthew 25, verses 14 through 30. Now, in the last two parts, part one and two, we reviewed how the first two servants doubled the master's money. They one with 5 talents, one with 2 talents. They doubled to 10 and to 4. The master was pleased, saying, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." In today's part 3, we'll study about the third servant, who unfortunately did not double the master's money. Instead, he buried it in his backyard, basically buried it in the ground. So the master was very angry with this, as we will see. So, and we'll also apply it to our own lives, so that we can. What's the lesson we're supposed to learn from this? So we will start with. The third servant. So, the many Christians today see salvation as simply a ticket to ride to heaven. They believe it doesn't matter what they do. They're just waiting, like in that old Bob Dylan song, for that slow train coming around the bend. Or like the Beatles' famous song, they seem to think that they have a ticket to ride and they don't care. The parable of the talents teaches that we're supposed to work while we await our personal return to heaven, that we're supposed to work while here on earth according to the talents we're given. That, like the master in this parable, God is pleased when we succeed at the task that we're given here in life. We are to work. We're supposed to use our talents to serve the common good, to further God's kingdom in heaven and in earth. We're to work as if we're directly working for God, because in truth we are directly working for God. God has put our supervisors and the organizations in place around us. See my videos on 1 Corinthians 10 verses 31, or Ephesians 6, 5 through 9, or Colossians 3:17, or Colossians 3 verses 23 and 24. Biblical success is working diligently in the here and now, using all the talents that God has given us to produce the highest potential to the glory of God. So we discussed how the first two, in part one and part two, we discussed how the first two servants did just this. They worked to their highest potential. They took their 5 talents. They took their 2 talents. They doubled the talents. And the master is pleased. Likewise, in our life, if we take our talents and we use them diligently and increase the produce of our job, whatever it is, it could be money, it could be something else, whatever our task is, God, like the master in this parable, is pleased. Now we're looking at the third servant. The third servant is not so fortunate. The master is a man who reaps where he does not sow and gathers where he has not scattered seed. He aggressively seeks to expand his wealth, and he does business wherever he can to make a profit. He even reprimands the servant for failing to invest the money with bankers, so that he at least may have gained a little bit of interest on the savings. We'll read in verse 24. Then the man who had received 1 bag of gold came. "Master," he said, "I knew that you are a hard man, harvesting where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. So I was afraid, and I went out and hid your gold in the ground. See, here is what belongs to you." Verse 26. His master replied, "You wicked, lazy servant. So you knew that I harvest where I have not sown, and I gather where I have not scattered seed? Well, then you should have put my money on deposit with the bankers, so that when I returned, I would have received it back with interest." The third servant admits that he was afraid to lose the master's money, so he buried the talent in the ground. Although this may seem odd to a 21st century audience, today, burying treasure was quite common during that time. The master is furious. He had entrusted his servant with a portion of his property in order that the servant would use his abilities in order to turn a profit for his Lord. The servant was too afraid to take the risk, even though risky behavior was part of the master's business. Instead, he attempted to secure his own well-being. In the end, his unfaithfulness to carry out his master's work cost him severely. The lesson is this, and the parable of talents shows us that there will be a day of reckoning. The parable of the talents is not about salvation or works of righteousness. It's about how how carefully we are stewards of the talents and opportunities God has given us as we fulfill our callings. Note that the unfaithful steward in the parable didn't waste the master's money. He wasted an opportunity. As a result, he was judged wicked and lazy. We are responsible for the use of our talents and opportunities and life situations that God has given us. One day there will be a reckoning. So what we may hear from the master in the final day, God is represented by the master, or master representing God, is up to us based on our stewardship of what we've been given. Reading in verse 28. So take the bag of gold from him and give it to the one who has 10 bags. For whoever has been given more, and they will have an abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. And throw that worthless servant outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The master expects the servants to continue his business, to take risks, to make a profit, and to emulate his behavior. 2 servants were found faithful, and they were rewarded. 2 servants used their talents to the maximum of their ability. Those who were found faithful will hear the master say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant." As some of you know, this ends our study of the talents. As a lot of you know, I do not take a salary from the church. Instead, I support myself as an accountant and a tax advisor. New-england.net. Like the Apostle Paul, the tent maker, I support myself. He supported himself making tents. I support myself in other ways, which is my accounting practice at new-england.net. Feel free to drop by there if you need tax preparation or accounting services or know someone who does. Feel free to recommend. And I'm also a real estate broker. I love real estate. I think that should be one of the 3 legs of the stool of retirement for most people. It is for me. Investing in real estate harvests a great return if done properly. And thirdly, the 3rd leg of the stool is I hold a Series 6 and a 63 license, and insurance licenses. So I help people invest in IRAs and mutual funds. Real estate involves a little work and a little time, and not everyone wants to spend that kind of time or work on the side. So mutual funds and IRAs are a way of passively investing, and that's the best for a lot of people. It certainly should be a part of anybody's retirement portfolio. And also, don't forget to protect the resources that you gain. You have to protect the downside with your insurance. If you can handle the worst case, you can handle it. You can handle your investments easily. Let's put it that way. If you're insured properly, handle the downside, then you're even better prepared for the upside. So thanks for that. I hope you enjoyed our study of the 10 talents. And if you like these videos and want more, please click the like button and please click the bell to be alerted when more videos are posted. My intention here, which I'm working through, is to explore all 2,350 verses about money, which is in the Bible. If that's something that you'd be interested in, let me know. If there's some other topics which you'd be interested, also let me know. Join our mailing list. Visit me at newlifedixon.org or new-england.net and let me know what you think, and we will keep communicating. So until then, hope to see you at the church. This is Pastor Ken of the New Life Church of Dixon.